What's good? What's good? Before I share the definition of cognitive dissonance, to frame this video in an attempt to connect some dots, I would like to share with you an idiom that I think that Game of Thrones series popularized. God, that word is so fucking hard. Popularized. It goes something like this. If you tear out a man's tongue, you are not proving him a liar, but showing the world you're afraid of what he might say. Think about that for a minute. And now, let's bring up the definition of cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance, the state of having inconsistent thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes, especially as relating to behavioral decisions and attitude change. Okay. And so now I'm sure you're thinking, what does that have to do with censorship, Andrew? Well, let's go back to the expression of tearing out a man's tongue. If you're afraid of bad ideas, you should want them exposed and out in the open so that way they can be defeated by better ideas. And I haven't always been a rabbit hole sort of person. I experienced personally a lot of cognitive dissonance over the last 5 or so years as I have been trying to understand what is going on in our country. And it has been a very difficult journey, but a necessary journey. Most people will agree that something's not right. We just struggle to agree on what the issues are and how to go about solving them. And so if you support censorship, I ask you, are you being intellectually honest and exploring all that is available to your mind? It's very tricky because there is a lot of bad information out there. And so you have to learn how to decipher what good and bad information is. And in the darkness of the matrix, that's very difficult to do. But it starts with you internally asking difficult questions and considering difficult topics and ideas. One that I have recently been struggling with is just the depth and capacity for evil, especially when it might be masked by a smile. Because you just want to think that evil is easy to identify. But it's not. That's how it flourishes, is that it is able to hide in plain sight. Here's another idiom. I don't know the roots of this one, but it is very, very fitting. It is easier to fool someone than convince them that they have been fooled. Think about that for a second. So with rampant censorship, state-sponsored media, population dividing culture, it's no wonder that our country is a mess. And it's no wonder that the government and the ruling class over the last few years have been able to consolidate a tremendous amount of wealth. So much money has been funneled up to the frickin' ruling class, while the average American is being driven further into debt slavery. We can allow the Great Reset to happen, or we can work to usher in the Great Awakening. There are two paths in front of us. And if you've been doing the spiritual work inside yourself, you'll know which path to take. It can be very scary to think that maybe the government doesn't have your best interests at heart. That they don't give a shit what your skin color is. They just want to extract all of your value. The ruling class, they're not racist or sexist or bigoted. They're inhuman. So by nature of being inhuman, they're not able to be any of those things because they're not us. They're not part of us. And so that's unfair to label them as inhuman, because that is, it's an attack. But when you think of the egregious atrocities that the wealthy have perpetuated onto the world via imperialism, colonialism, all the things that they do to make life great for them, for the few elite. Humans can coexist. We can collaborate. We can build the new earth. But we must address the corruption and the evil that has infested our institutions. If you are someone who is privy to information, you should speak up. Now is the time. If you are someone who is working for the government and you don't want to continue perpetuating the military-industrial complex, and you don't want to continue perpetuating the oppression of our consciousness, walk away. I made a video a while back titled, "Who Will Feed the Gestapo?" And it is very relevant today, because who will feed police officers if they quit? If they stop enforcing laws that are unjust and then thus lose their job? The incentives to perpetuate the matrix affect a lot of us. That's why it is so complex. And that's why it is so easy to pit people against each other. Systems of power, systems of oppression, institutions of the state create this web of inhuman existence. Humans, I believe in humans. I do. Informed and empowered humans can peacefully coexist. Manipulated masses are just a catastrophe waiting to happen. Okay. I have more, but I think I'm going to do a different video because I've been rambling enough on this one. Thank you for listening. If you feel like you have been experiencing cognitive dissonance and you don't know what to do, what to think, I would say just unplug from media for a while and just look inside yourself for a little bit. Just avoid the noise and look within. And you will begin to find some answers. You won't find all of the answers, but you'll begin to find some. And beginning the journey is the hardest part. That transition. But once you do, you will feel so confident in the path that you are walking. I believe in you. I do. Peace.